The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Welcome to the 15-Point Plan. Chad Himes here, joined by the smiley Jillene Snell. She's over there all smiling at me. Jillene, how are you today?
I'm happy. I mean, when I get to hang out with Chad and Dave, and I'm happy.
All right.
It's a good day.
Jillene, we teased everybody last week with this week's topic. We're going to be talking about
Mentorship and having a mentor.
All right.
So let's just dive right in, Chad.
Yes.
So the first is, what is a mentor? And then why have a mentor?
Okay.
And so a mentor is the influence, guidance, or direction given by a mentor.
Okay.
It's someone who teaches or gives help and advice based on typically their educational background and life experience.
Hey, wait a minute. Doesn't that mean we might be mentors to our audience?
Yeah, good point. Very much so.
Sorry, folks.
And a mentor could be considered, your influence, an influence, a coach. And there's many types that we talk about in other episodes as well. Like we talk about having a board of directors for your life in one of the other episodes.
Okay.
But let's dive into why choose to have a mentor or even multiple mentors.
Okay.
Sound good?
I love it.
And truly, there's a myriad of reasons why one would want to have a mentor.
Okay.
But we're just going to focus on some of the top reasons.
Give me the first.
The first is that mentors provide information and knowledge.
Okay.
Which also requires humility on our part to receive it, does it not?
Yeah.
Especially those of us who have entrepreneurial mindsets where it can feel exciting to create something and go at it alone. But when we tap into the wealth of knowledge from a mentor, it can get us up to speed faster and shorten that learning curve. And so more than likely that mentor or our mentors have made more mistakes than us on their path to success, and we can learn from them. We've heard that phrase, Chad, learn from your mistakes.
Amen.
But in reality, the smartest people learn from other people's mistakes.
Ooh, say that again. I like that.
Yeah, instead of learning from our mistakes, in reality, the smartest people choose to learn from others' mistakes. And then this in itself will shorten that learning curve on our path to where we want to go.
Okay.
I love this quote by Eleanor Roosevelt that says, learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself.
I'm doing my best to make them all myself, it feels like.
Well, let me ask you this, Chad.
Okay.
What mistakes have you learned from others that you didn't personally repeat yourself?
Wow. Folks, we don't script these things, so she's put me on the spot. I'm
I know,
stalling
he's in the
while
spotlight.
I'm thinking about... Okay, so the first one that came to my mind was an amazing experience for myself, actually, and I learned a lot. When I first got into the world of real estate, which I had a successful career at, when I first learned how to earn listing opportunities and help people, I had to go through a lot of practice on my dialogues and scripts and learning what to say in situations. And I had a mentor, Rick Brinkus, who never seemed to not have the right answer. And he taught me every answer. And I remember the first time I was on a listing appointment on my own and someone asked me for a question, they challenged something, and Rick's words just came right out of my mouth. I didn't have to make the mistake of saying the wrong thing. I didn't have to make the mistake of losing an opportunity because I had the answer because a mentor had given it to me in advance.
So Rick in the past might have made the mistakes and lost some business.
I'm sure
potentially
he had.
Learned from it, created these scripts, these guided conversations that you followed.
Yes.
And then took the business successfully.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Good example. So number 2, why have a mentor, is that mentors see where we can improve that we personally cannot.
Oh, aren't we always blind to that, right?
This is a hard one for me. I mean, I take feedback seriously in multiple ways. Like, I know I need it, and I take that seriously. But then when I get it, I also, am hard on myself with the feedback that I get. So this is one that I'm constantly practicing. And in my world, I call this constructive feedback. A lot of people use other language like constructive criticism or criticism. It's just a negative word for me.
Okay.
So I focus on constructive feedback.
So have you ever gotten any constructive feedback you're willing to share?
Well, yeah, actually.
Okay.
Ben didn't give me my mentor, my boss, my business partner, Ben. he didn't necessarily give me direct feedback on my my interpersonal skills
Okay.
when I first started working with him.
Got
But
it.
what he did do is give me this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
What a great book.
And I felt like that in itself was a piece of feedback.
Yep.
There was another thing where we would say a lot, or I would say a lot. So he created this jar. So every time I said we'd have to put $1 in the jar.
Can I start tracking you every time you say on the podcast?
No, you
or
need to
right?
track me with right. It's the right that I get. I have this friend, Jacqueline Smith, who is an advocate of 15-point plan and a big promoter and follower of it. And she has also given me a bit of that feedback. So I always appreciate it. But a mentor is not going to pat our egos. They're instead going to be brutally honest on what they see versus downplaying our weaknesses.
Yes.
So if we don't automatically receive feedback, then it's important that we ask for it. And I think when we ask for it, Chad, we're going to find out who our true friends are because they're going to give us the honest feedback. And it might be that just by asking questions that give us this constructive feedback, such as, what could I have done better in this scenario?
Yep.
What could I do better on the next podcast, Chad?
Okay.
We might actually find our next mentor by asking those questions.
Excellent. All right. So number 1 was mentors provide info and knowledge. Number 2, they see areas that we can improve that we don't see. What's number 3, Jillene?
Mentors find ways to develop people without giving them all the answers. And
Nice.
yeah. And this is one I personally wrote out the example of this. And I think it's the difference between leading versus telling.
Oh, okay.
And there's so much power in that. I found this quote, Chad. It says, the delicate balance of mentoring someone is not creating them in your own image, but giving them the opportunity to create the best version of themselves.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, the delicate balance of mentoring someone is not creating them in your own image, but giving them the opportunity to create their best selves. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's great.
A mentor will pose a question for you to think about.
Mm-hmm.
A mentor will help you set goals and then set you loose on them, nearly as a test to see if you're capable of accomplishing them on your own.
Okay.
They'll observe the results and then they'll provide that constructive feedback.
Okay.
A mentor will allow you to shadow them live in action. Ben did this a lot. He'd meet with a client, or when he was doing talent acquisition or acquisitions, he would include me in on many of the conversations, and I would learn so well that way. Did it mean I didn't need to also read the manual and watch the videos and do my part in learning and developing? Yes. But that mentorship was a huge impact on me.
Okay. Got it.
So I actually wanted to ask you, Chad, where have you experienced someone who showed the way versus told the way?
Someone who showed the way versus told the way. All right. So the one that comes to my mind off the top of my head here is a friend of mine, Tanner. He's the one that got me into obstacle course racing. And he showed me the way. He just talked me into joining one and then showed me what to do while we were running. He just ran up a wall and I was like, what? And he ran up the wall again.
He's
and
like,
I was
come with me.
I was like, what? And he ran up the wall again until I figured out how to do it. And he
Yeah.
waited. And then he ran off and did the next obstacle. And he did it 2 or 3 times if he had to. So I could watch and I could see how to do it. So I could follow along. And
That's great.
What comes to me, Jillene, and now I have surpassed my mentor. So understand, folks, these mentors are not a lifelong person for that role. Because now, the last time we ran one together, which was a few years ago already, he was like, I can't keep up with you.
Wow.
He said, you just keep going. I'll see you at the finish line. So at times, we will end up surpassing our mentors if we have the right ones, because they want us to become even better than they were.
Wouldn't that be the ideal outcome?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. Okay, so number 4, mentors offer encouragement and help us keep going. Talk to us about this one, because it sounds like Tanner might be a guy who fits into that as well.
I love this one so much. And I think, we need this in our lives and we need to be this to other people. Mentors, they see the potential we don't see in ourselves. They often don't let us quit when we want to quit. And, you could relate that to exercise very easily.
Sure.
Like, I know I do spin classes and I have this gal, her name is Audrey. And sometimes if I'm not keeping up for a couple seconds or whatever it is, she'll just literally like nudge me from her bike right next to me that says, come on, let's do this. Let's go.
Sure.
And of course, that's a small example, but I'm not quitting because I've got this person that says, keep going. I see the potential in you.
Yeah.
They offer this 10,000-foot view when often we're wading in the mud.
Oh, that's
we can't see over the trees.
Great way to say that, Jillian.
Yeah, they see the bigger picture.
Yep.
They're active listeners during the tough moments of growth.
Mm.
And honestly, if we're constantly growing, we're always going to have tough moments. It's
Yes.
constantly uncomfortable, right? I've got this hat in front of me on my desk here in the podcast room that says "Comfort kills."
Mine says nobody cares. Work
prevents
harder.
Growth. That's so good.
That's the one that Bob decided fit me.
Oh, I love it.
You got a quote from Oprah about this as well, I see on the note you shared with me before this.
Yeah, a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself.
Oh, that
says
Oprah.
Oprah.
Yeah, that Oprah.
Chad, do you have any examples of when you wanted to quit, but someone like a mentor kept you in the game?
I got hundreds of times I've wanted to quit. I mean, Ben himself, right? Ben Kinney, the founder of the 15-point plan, the guy behind all the Win, Make, Give stuff, multiple times have I wanted to quit, and he has just said, come on, just get to here, right? Just get this done at work, or just get that chapter written, or just get this person in a meeting with you one-on-one. And then all of a sudden the energy comes from the creation of the stuff that he's put in front of me.
Yeah.
Easy to just poke and keep pushing me along. And then you
that's
already
so
said
good.
it. In the world of health, how many people have pushed you and challenged you and said, you can lift one more, you can run 2 seconds faster.
Well, same with running Ragnar this year with you.
Mm.
I mean, you know how many times I wanted to quit. I was like, I just don't think I can do it this year.
Mm-hmm.
And you kept me going. Like, you kept me from quitting.
Well, I wasn't letting you off.
You were
We
my
told the
stickiness.
podcast audience you were coming. So
My audience also didn't let me quit.
there
right?
you go.
And that leads us into the conversation about accountability. Mentors help us maintain accountability.
Okay.
Now, we cannot rely on them for 100% of our accountability necessarily. We should always rely on ourselves.
Yes.
Right?
Amen.
Everything rises and falls with our own decisions. Mentors have or should have the ability to see our clearly defined goals. They have visibility into those things that are important to us. And then knowing that someone else is watching us can serve as motivation. So the mentee is more likely to let themselves down than a mentor.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of this accountability comes in. I love to think of this example of like my mentor, someone I highly respect and admire, standing behind me as I work throughout the day. And if they were just looking over my shoulder as I work, would they be proud of what I'm focusing my time on and what I'm choosing to spend my time on? Or would they be disappointed?
Yeah, and Ben, who's a mentor to both of us, Ben says it in the way of, would they be impressed or depressed
Yeah.
if they stood over your shoulder and watched you all day?
Yeah. But your mentor doesn't necessarily even have to be present.
No, you just
or
have
you're
to
engaged.
feel
You just
them
have
there,
to
right?
think about it, right? This
Yes.
is self-generated accountability with this person that you highly respect. You know, the mentor might have you text them daily,
Yep.
but don't expect them to text you daily. We need to text them daily that goal versus that actual, such as maybe the daily plan that we talk about in the 15-point plan podcast, the
I
daily
have
plan
my
of planning
coaching
the day the night
clients,
before.
they text me every night to help them, and maybe I shouldn't be calling myself a coach. I should just be calling myself a mentor.
There you go.
I'm a life mentor.
It's a paradigm shift, isn't
Okay,
it?
there you
In
go.
the impact that you can have on others.
Okay, so you've given us 5. Give us the 6th, and then we'll recap the list for everybody. What's the 6th?
Again, there's so many, but we're just
yeah.
focusing on 6. Mentors can be connectors. And this has played out huge in my life. I bet it's played out in every audience's life as well.
Yep.
You know, mentors, more than likely, they realize that their bandwidth only goes so far.
Yep.
Right? And we're going to need different types of mentors in our lives.
Yep.
And what they can do and often do is introduce us to others with the expertise and influence that we need for that moment in our lives.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
Yep.
They make introductions that we might not have otherwise had. And that influence can become part of our personal and business development, right? I think like Ben is a mentor to me.
Yep.
Obviously, we've talked about this. He's introduced me to what is now my tribe of women, like my BFFs, my best friends.
Yep.
He introduced
Feel
me
free,
to
give
one.
him a shout out. Go on.
Yeah, I remember one of the early conferences we went to, Ben had won this 30 under 30 through National Association of Realtors. So we were young then.
Yep.
And he introduced
Long
me to
time
this
ago.
gal. He said, I'm going to introduce you to this gal this evening, and I think you're going to hit it off. Well, ironically, that very evening, we did hit it off and since then have been best friends. And I now call her my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And that led into, by the way, her name is Valerie
There
Almanzar.
you go. Give her the shout out.
That led into the group of women that now we're in a tribe with today, all because of that connection. So you can see mentors can become connectors, both personally and in your professional
That's
life.
awesome. I wouldn't have known you if it weren't for Ben.
Very true. So this podcast might not have been born.
Correct.
Imagine that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hopefully, folks, that this podcast being born is a good thing. All right, Jillene, let's recap those 6. You ready? Number 1, mentors knowledge drop. Number 2, mentors provide brutally honest feedback. I like these mentors. Number 3, mentors find way to lead and develop without giving all the answers. Number 4, mentors become our cheerleaders. Number 5, mentors provide accountability. And number 6, mentors can connect us to other amazing people. So Jillene, wrap up the importance of having a mentor and all of that when it comes into the world of mentorship, because what a powerful, influential force in our life.
So powerful. You know, a mentor is someone who helps us grow our skills, make better decisions, gain new perspectives on life and our careers. And when we hear that phrase, work smarter, not harder,
Mm-hmm.
mentorship can be the key to exactly this, working smarter.
Okay.
So in next chat on the podcast, we're going to talk about different types of influences
Yep.
and mentors.
Okay.
Because influence can be binary in the sense that one can be influenced down a negative path or a positive path.
Sure.
So choosing the type of influences we tap into is honestly, a game changer for the life that we end up living. So I can't wait for that episode, and I hope you all join us.
I can't wait for that one either. Folks, here's what we want you to do in the meanwhile. Come to our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/win-make-give. Here's what we want to know. Who would you say is your number one mentor right now in your world? Come comment. We'll post about it. We're going to ask you. Come comment and let us know who is the mentor in your world right now. Why do we want to know? Because we want to say thank you to them on behalf of you. All right, that's what we're doing here at the 15-Point Plan. So come jump on into that. Also, make sure you come back to our next episode. Heck, go share this episode with a whole bunch of people that need a mentor in their life, or that you are a mentor to them, or heck, you want them to be your mentor. Show them how important they are. Until our next episode, we hope this episode ups your energy and takes you to the next level.